Hey my beautiful bitches, it's me, Fiona St. James, and welcome to another episode of Fiona's Coffee Talks. And as always, I'd like to start off every morning with a fresh, hot, black cup of coffee. Hold the cream! I'd love to. So, today's topic is, ready for this? Jury duty. So, here's my thought on that. I have friends that always go on about, oh, I love jury duty. And I honestly have never served on a jury. And that I think my thought on that is I really have no interest in doing so. And I think maybe partially because I feel like I've been judged my whole life. And I just, for me to sit here and be on a jury and judge other people, that's just never really been my thing. But it reminds me of a funny story. Many years ago, probably like 20 years ago, you always get the questionnaire, you fill it out, and 100% of the time, if you fill out the questionnaire, they will actually choose you. So at the time I was working at Bloomingdale's, freelancing, and I was, doing well and averaging 10-hour days. So like any given day for me was about $250 a day. And at the time, jury duty was only paying $40. Now, having said that, because I was freelancing, it's not like I could take a day off and get paid for it. So it was, if you worked, you got paid. If you didn't work, you did not get paid. So, of course, I filled out the questionnaire because you don't want them to come after you and say, bitch, you didn't fill it out. So, and of course, they called me in. So, you know how you have to call the night before to see if your number is picked, and then you have to show up the next day. So the next morning I was before I even got there, I was ugh, I'm so over this crap. I don't really think that I'm a good candidate to be on a jury. So I purposely that day, made it a point to not shower. My hair was a mess. I don't even think I brushed my teeth. I was who cares? And I'd purposely dress down. Usually when you go to something like that, you want to spruce yourself up. Not me. I remember I got there and, they, after you sign in, they make you wait in this huge room. So I went up to this woman there and I said, listen, I shouldn't be here. I'm not a good candidate. And she probably looked at me like I was insane and I probably looked crazy. So she put me in that first group. So the first 12 of us went in and you're sitting there and the judge is there and you have the two different attorneys and they described what the case was. I don't even remember. I think it was something that some guy had been accused of theft or assault or maybe both. I don't know. But one of the first things that the judge did was he looks at the 12 of us that were sitting there. He says, are there any jurors here who feel that they should not be here or feel that, for whatever reason, they should be excused? Well, honey, you saw me immediately raise my hand with such a look of disdain and attitude as I was all right, here's where I'm going to put my acting chops to work. So, of course, he picked on me and he, points to me. He was so why do you think you shouldn't be here? And I was well, Your Honor, first of all, I work in retail and I make $250 a day. And for me to give up that kind of money to sit here and get paid $40 to judge someone when I've been judged my whole life because I am a gay man and I don't believe in judging anyone, that's not going to work for me. Number one. Number two, as far as I'm concerned, guilty or innocent, the fact that anyone is stupid enough to be in a situation where they get accused of a crime, as far as I'm concerned, they are guilty. Well, you have to understand this is in front of the judge, the two attorneys, the other jurors, a room full of, there must have been 100 people there. And I was well, shit, I'm going to carry on and cause a scene and be a little obscene. Of course, I didn't curse or anything, but I very much had an attitude. And when I finished, I was just kind of looking at everyone with my lips all queening it all up. Not that that's very hard for me to do. So then, but to see everyone's reaction, the room fell silent. Everyone was and then the judge was he looks at the one attorney and says, are you okay with excusing him? And it was a male attorney. He was yes. And then he looks at the other attorney who happened to be female and asks her, are you okay with excusing him? And she was yeah. like a bit of an attitude. So then all of a sudden, which I thought was kind of funny. And then the judge is like, okay, well, you're excused. And I was like, good. Just, even when I said good, I was like, oh my Lord, did I just say that out loud? You know me, hon, half the time, I don't know what's going to come out. And to me, it was like, to me, it was sort of a bit of a performance, although there is truth to what I said. I don't like judging people. I don't honestly think that I'm a good candidate to be on a jury because, I just have no interest in that. And, other people love doing it, good for them. I don't. So I was excused and he was like, you're excused. And then after I said good, he was like, you can leave now. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got up and I was like, thank you, Your Honor. Then I was all like sweet and kind of, changed my voice a little and walked out. Now, the funny part was I was like in and out in like not even an hour. Like I was like in that first group and I was the first bitch to raise my hand and I was like, fuera, get me the hell out of here. And then there was a hot man who was, of course, there's always a hot man in any of my stories, who happened to be there in the room. And I don't know if he was a potential juror. I think he may have been as well. And because then when I was waiting to be excused, he came out and comes up to me. He was like, wow, that was, quite the show you put on in there. And it kind of was a show, but, not really. I mean, well, yeah, really. But it's how I honestly felt anyway. So, and he was kind of cute. So, I was living in Sunnyside where I still am living. And he offered to give me a lift home. And I was like, sure. And I think he thought I would like maybe invite him up to my apartment. But as soon as he dropped me off in front of my building, I was like, thanks. And just kind of said goodbye to him. So that was many, many, many years ago. The reality of the matter is since then, I have received in the mail the questionnaires, which of course you fill out, then they pick you. The unfortunate reality is now, even if I wanted to, which I don't, because of the fact that, I'm the age that I am, and I think I've mentioned in previous videos that probably like 5 years ago, I had this god-awful surgery with I had been suffering from chronic diverticulitis, so they removed part of my large intestine. I know it sounds gross, but the reality is the end result of that is I can't sit for that long a period of time. And in turn, I have a very overactive bladder. So now even if I wanted to, the fact of the matter is I can't sit for that long without, I'd have to be telling the judge, could I go to the bathroom? And I think they'd get sick of my ass if I had to do that every hour, sometimes a couple of times an hour. That's just the reality of my situation. Plus, I drink like 2 gallons of water a day. So, when you drink that much water, you're always flushing stuff out. So, and I thought to do this topic because lo and behold, I got another one of those questionnaires and I was like, oh, great, jury duty. And I was like, oh, jury duty. That's a funny story. I'm going to do that. So, subscribers, you tell me, you guys love jury duty? I know there are people out there that, that do love it. And maybe if you're like, if it's not going to interfere with other income, that would be better. And hell, why not? I don't know if it's still $40. I'd imagine it might be a little more, probably not that much more, but something's better than nothing. I just, for myself, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to handle it. And I just really have no interest in judging other people. So that's my 2 cents on that. Hope you guys enjoyed that little funny story. I thought it was great. And I even write about it in my book. So, all right, guys, as always, I love that you guys let me into your lives, into your living room. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave your comments. And as always, I love that you guys are here. Signing off, Fiona's Coffee Talks. Bye.